Well, yeah, so there you go. Don't forget, the president also spoke about security, which we will come to in a moment. But focusing a little more specifically now on the expectations for whoever will be Minister of Defense or that of Interior. And by the way, if you speak about Interior, guys, we're talking about the Nigerian police. They will be answerable to him. Nigeria now Correctional Services. They also will be there. The Nigeria Immigration Service, Federal Fire Service, and then, additionally, the Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps, Police Academy, which is in Kano, and then you have all these other agencies who will be they'll be answerable to whoever or those who assume those positions. But we do know the challenge that we've got with security at the moment. So what do we expect from some of those and how things are panning out? What should they do to hit the ground running? Well, to give us some suggestions, we've got Wilson Ijide, PhD. He's a retired colonel with the Nigerian Army. He's also an industrial psychologist, industrial organizational psychologist at the Department of Psychology and resource expert, Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies at the University of Ibadan. He joins us live on the line this morning from Ibadan. Good morning, Colonel, and thank you for joining us today. Well, clearly, you know how we say that we expect a lot from the minister. The president has said they should expect to work long hours because that will be required of them. But speaking specifically about security, what stands out for you in terms of what whoever or those persons who will be handling the security architecture, what should they be addressing first and foremost, perhaps?
Thank you very much, Chairman, for having me, and good evening, good morning, Nigerians. I want to say that the task of security, for our country is indeed an enormous one, but I do not think that it is one that is insurmountable. I also believe that the challenge of security does not require any rocket science. There are models in place that we or whoever is in charge of the security architecture or the number of people that are involved in security architecture can activate and actualize to ensure that we provide a formidable security for the Nigerian state. This is because of the very fact that the very purpose of governance, the primary purpose of governance is the welfare and security of citizens. Therefore, what I think is that government must prioritize security. It all borders on what we call job analysis. Taking the security challenges in the Nigerian sector in place, understanding it, knowing what are the activities required to fit the challenges, and having the knowledge, skills, abilities, and other requirements that must be exercised by those who are in charge of security architecture. Among such knowledge, skills, and abilities are what I also call psychological factors, such as the personality of those in place, their level of professionalism, their personality, their ability to be able to have a clear understanding of the challenge of security architecture and what should be done so that we can have a better society for all of us all. I was particularly impressed with the point that the President raised during the address to the minister's designate as far as during for the retreat. When he talked about the fact that our population is increasing, and in no distant future, we shall be the third most populous country in the world. That is a recipe for various security challenges. And I think we should be looking ahead. So primarily, what I think those that have been started with the security architecture of this country should look at right now is to carry out a proper need assessment. what are the challenges? And I'm sure they are not even very far from what we already have in our research institutions, such as the National Defense College, the Nigerian Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Armed Forces Command and Staff College, and various other universities, institutions in the country that have written a lot about these challenges. I just think that they need to collate all of this information and get to the ground and hit the ground running. The challenges are not insurmountable. We need the political will. There must be a need assessment of the resources that we need to be able to bridge the gap.
So, Dr. Ejide, if I could jump in and ask you, when you say we need the political will, does that reside with whoever will be Minister of Defense or whoever will be Minister of Interior? Does the buck stop at their table? Because that political will, shouldn't it, or isn't that usually demonstrated by the president, who usually will have the final say?
Very beautiful.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Very beautiful question, Chamberlain. When I talk about political will, yes, I'm still here. All right. Very beautiful question, Chamberlain. I'm very happy that you raised this question of political will. Because indeed, when we talk about political will, many people don't get it right. The political will does not end with the president alone. The political will is also a requirement of those who are in charge of the Ministry of Defense or the Ministry of Interior. Let me explain what I mean by this. It is known that oftentimes leaders don't get the right advice because people think, out of political correctness, that this is what the leader may want to hear. And so that lack of political will and sincerity of purpose do not allow people to get to inform the president and commander-in-chief or whoever is the top leader the exact information that they need to make the right decision. So on the part of the Minister of Defense and the Minister of Interior, they need to muster that political will to be able to tell the president what he needs to know about the challenges that they have, and not giving palliatives and doing a yes-sir thing. At that level, after these ministers have given the president the correct picture of what is required to deal with the security challenges, then the political will shift to the commander-in-chief, the president himself, who will now take the right decisions based on the advice that has been given and the thought and knowledge that has been presented to him. It is when we have gaps in this political will, either as a result of not giving the president the right information and clarity of what is on ground, and or if that is given and the president does not muster the political will to do what is right, then we have challenges. For instance, one of the kind of political will that one will expect from the president at this point in time is that we cannot claim that the service chiefs today are just the best that can fulfill the functions of security in this country. For perception of effectiveness, I think there is a need to have the political will to change the service chiefs and rejig, the contributions of younger, experienced military officers to handle the defense structure.
Dr. Ejide, you mentioned something earlier. You talked about the need to conduct a needs assessment. Does that suggest that we haven't done that before, already?
Yes. Well, what happens is that need assessment should be a continuous thing. The need assessment you did from 2-3 years ago may not be relevant for the present. And of course, in that need assessment, must also do what we call forecasting, projection, to be able to anticipate the challenges that are ahead. And then, of course, you'll be able to have a global view of the challenges that you have and what can be done in terms of network to be able to meet these challenges. All of this must be constantly updated so that you can be on top of the situation. That's my position.
But then one also questions what you said earlier. You talked about a need to rejig, the personnel in charge of our security at this moment. In the face of shape-shifting security challenges, do you think this needs assessment is going to address it, or is just something that we just have to the wave?
A need assessment will likely address that. The rejigging of the security architecture, no doubt about that. When you do a need assessment, you probably will realize that there's element of fatigue on the part of personnel that are currently or presently in charge of the security architecture, and therefore a need to inject new blood, new experiences, people with more motivation to do more. Not people who seem to have already started there for quite a number of time and have done their best and probably have not much to add again. So that is.
All right, Dr. Wilson Ejide, we have to end at that point. He's a retired colonel with the Nigerian Army and also an industrial organization psychologist. Thank you for talking to us today. But we'll be back in a moment and talk a little more on expectations concerning whoever or those who will be manning the security architecture in the country. Join us again.